United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the public hearing for the wastewater ordinance. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I said, who's talking? How rude. So do we need that?
So in your public hearing, I'm assuming the public here isn't here against the wastewater ordinance.
No, not at all.
Okay. So we don't have anybody against the ordinance. Then you guys, you've had the ordinance in front of you. There's Marilyn.
Be careful that
Watch that cord.
Marilyn. Watch that cord.
Like I was just talking, all of a sudden I forgot to call. We just had the conversation.
So the ordinance then is to increase the wastewater rates a little bit, as you guys have had in front of you the last two meetings. So you can have a public hearing now, and then under old business, you can adopt it. So it's just, right now, it's just if the public had any questions, or you guys had any comments or questions or changes you're looking for it. If you have changes, you obviously wouldn't adopt it, so.
Right.
Okay.
So there's no public comment. So we'll go on to approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 5th.
All those in favor, aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On to the money matters. Appropriations report, payroll docket, and revenue report.
I make a motion we approve of the money matters.
All those in favor, did you say second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Now, new business, we have the Form 1 of the 2026 budget.
In front of you is, it'll look like this. We don't need to go through it. This is just for your information only. It's for you to go home and read and look over. This is the proposed 2026 budget. A couple of things to keep in mind. You're gonna see some items in general that are a little higher next year than what they are this year. And the reason that is because anytime you appropriate money, whether it's general, CCD, CCI, rainy day, whatever, the DLGF assumes you're gonna spend every bit of that money. Well, we don't spend every bit of that money. We don't in general. So we always have a cash balance that comes over. This particular year, going into 2026, we'll have a higher cash balance. So, but what that happens, and then with CCD, you know, I raised it up from 24 to 25 so that we could do the things we needed to do. That's your improvement. Such as when Bob has to get a tree down at the park, we take it out of CCD. You'll see them lower because we don't have a high cash balance in there, but in 2027 we will. So I offset the CCD, CCI with general money and put like in park or in the armory. I up the armory because of the move and, you know, we might need appropriations for that. So you can look it over and email me or call me or whatever, but that would be the major things you're gonna see. Everything else is pretty much standard.
When you made this budget, I know we were talking about property tax. Did you change some of that too for this or, I mean, next year?
Well, we sat down with it. I mean, I could have cut some out of it as general, but we've had a good cash balance the last 3 years because we don't spend everything, but we don't have to make that
Okay, good.
coming into 2026. 2027, we'll have a clearer idea of what we're gonna lose. And the most I thought we would probably lose was close to 8,000 in 2026. However, we had enough cash balance in there that we didn't have to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We do need to restructure some things, but that's something we can do when we go to the next meeting. You know, like different departments and stuff, but
I know you're worried about that, and I just thought that.
yeah, we actually are doing well, but, we'll see what the effects of it are for the 27-28 budget, okay? So that's just for you to take home. I just didn't know if you wanted to look at it online. I'm a person that wants something in my hands typically, so.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready for the adoption of ordinance 1-2025 truck route.
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 1-2025 for keeping the trucks out of town.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Do you think we're gonna have a little problem with that, or do you not? Yeah, I mean, what kind of signs are we putting up? I know you were talking.
That's what I was gonna
They're
ask.
just, I don't know if you get out and about, county's putting them everywhere. There's a picture of a truck with a circle and a line through it, and underneath it
Okay.
says $2,500 fine. It'll be identical to that. Counties, they're
They're putting them everywhere.
So, just, police department, or you all wanna give them a month. or
Well,
two
I'm sure
leeway.
for a while there'll be a few that,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
give them a leeway, and then
Time to get used to it.
3 or 4 months down the road, they're still doing it, then I'd say stop them,
Stop.
at least tell them, and then.
Do you know when our signs will be in?
Yeah, no, I always dealt with hall sign. I don't know if the older people that owned it retired or what. The new girl, it's been a little difficult. So I called Montgomery County and asked them, and they gave me another company called Stella, which is in Spencer. That's where they get theirs, exact same sign. So I just got that today, but he said they got a pretty good quick turnaround, so.
Okay.
I think we'll get it quick.
now would this be on like your phone's map, or how do we get that accomplished?
I just think the trucks will see them and.
Okay.
Adhere to them.
I didn't know.
They get pulled over a couple times, and Kevin tells them the next time if it's your
Yeah.
company, we're gonna fine you $2,500. And then
Oh, yeah.
And with so many of them going up all around the county, the
Yeah,
guys that drive a lot
Yeah.
will see those and know what that means.
yeah, it ain't like we're the only ones doing it.
Right,
so.
right.
On that 2,500, which is fine, but is that a mandatory, or can Kevin, if Kevin's gonna write a citation, it's $2,500, that's just cut and dry.
They could probably contest it in court, but because you passed an ordinance, it's gonna be pretty rough to win that.
I've seen 2,000 and 2,500 on the counties. I don't
Yeah.
know if they've enforced any of them yet or
We're
not.
not doing it to try to break a company, we're doing it to try to save money on the streets.
Well, yeah.
Because we're
Okay.
trying to-
And I'll tell you, to be honest with you, the reason the county's doing it too, and the city's doing it, is because, we are losing money for streets. And that is one of the reasons that coffer's getting pretty low.
Well, I'm
And
sure the county roads are getting beat up.
absolutely, and when you don't have enough money coming in to
Well,
offset that.
just the weight of the trucks.
Yep. Well, and I
When
think,
they've got every direction out of Crawfordsville to try to get it anywhere.
well, and I think GPS is
Yeah,
bad.
That's the
Is a
worst
bad
thing.
thing because they can now look up, hey, I can cut here, I can cut there.
Yeah, ever
I
since
see
that came popular, they started coming down 700 cutting
Right.
through.
Yeah.
When I first started here, you hardly
There
saw.
wasn't that many
No.
trucks.
Just
But
because you
now
don't,
you see
just
them.
because you don't.
If you
Everywhere.
ever go to Lafayette, you'll meet a bunch of them coming this way.
Yeah, it's a lot of traffic. And something on that to think about in the future, we can knock that traffic down on Main Street or Madison. We could probably take away the parking on one side only. And really the only people park on is your parents.
Yeah.
So I assume we just take them signs down, let your parents park on their side of the road.
They haven't been lately, after their van got towed.
Well, yeah, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It's- I can't see why they should get penalized for not being able to park on their side.
Right.
So that's something to think about later.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was an ordinance or what that was years
No, I
ago.
don't either. I think probably because of, like the, I think it's because of the harvest time when they bring,
Yeah.
the farmers, they're still gonna be able to use.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
So, everything's bigger now.
Right.
It's a little tight.
But
It's tight,
if
yeah.
you look on Madison, well, you live on it.
Oh,
about the
yeah,
only people that park on the
Uh-huh.
opposite side is
Mhm.
Jeremy's parents, so it's not gonna matter if they're on this side or that side.
Right.
As far as if we enforce it or not, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready for adoption of ordinance 2.20-2025, the wastewater rates. Have a motion.
I make a motion that we pass the new rate for sewer. Yeah, wastewater.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Carried. Adoption of ordinance 3/2025, redistrict election.
Basically, that is just something you're having to do for, the state. We don't have a legislative body that districts for the purpose of town council, so we never have had. This is just a formality that we have to pass an ordinance that states that we don't, or never have had.
At one time we had that, but then you couldn't get people to run it, they so many on another area, so I
Yeah,
think,
I think it's in 2012 or something.
Yeah.
So,
in a small town, it's hard to have
sure.
districts,
No, very hard.
very
Yeah.
hard, yes.
Okay. House Bill.
You need to make a motion.
Oh, we need to make a
I
motion.
make a motion to
Redistrict election.
read
Second.
2025 redistrict election.
I second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. House Bill 1233, House Bill 1.
There's nothing to talk really about that right now. It's still in the work. I mean, it's passed, but we're doing it as one of the things is video, live streaming the meeting. That's one of House Bill 1. The second one is your agenda. If you look at it, it has to have the seal up here at the top. You can tell in the body right here that I have live stream on YouTube, Town of Darlington Council. If you're on YouTube, where you go sit and go home and watch the meeting, okay?
Okay, got it. I'll do that.
I know, you have nothing to do.
No, I don't, I'm not.
You're welcome. No toddlers.
I am. No, never.
So Darlington Town Council members, it has elected 4-year terms and it has our term there on it. Actually, they said it only had to be appointed employees. You don't have any appointed employees, so I just put it on there just to be safe, because it's probably gonna come up. Oh, but this is
So
one
we
of
don't
those
have to
changes.
do anything with that tonight.
No, these are just different changes that are coming up, so that's the 2 right now that I'm taking care of, and we'll see what the next one is. Yeah.
Update on the community center.
You wanna take that one?
I did talk to Brian, about the electrical, so he knows what's gonna be needed as far as for the mini splits. He is gonna get with you though to look and see what you're thinking about extra outlets, and especially this room. I think the other rooms are probably all right, no more power than they'll need there, but I'm sure you guys are gonna need some outlets.
Sure.
Conduit. I brought, go ahead. Lights, so he's gonna get with you to see what you're thinking there, because obviously you're gonna know what you want and what you need to
Sure.
make stuff happen. I brought some, and we can either, I can bring them up right now and show, or you guys can just look at them after. Some glue down vinyl planking for the floors in all
Okay.
4 rooms. The stuff I brought you first, the more I thought about it with rolling chairs and stuff, it just, this stuff glues down, it's vinyl. We'll all be long gone before it needs to be replaced, barring any, some flood or something like
Sure.
that or whatever.
Sure.
And once we pick out something, then I will, and I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but does not matter to me the color for myself personally, so that's to be you and the other Michelle. But then let me know, and what I'll do is I will have our company, the company I work for, I'll hand it off to somebody and take myself away. And I will also send probably to Stevenson's and to, Zon's. That's who I was.
Okay.
Zon's and Stevenson's the exact same, so they're all bidding. And then I will step out of the way and bring a sealed bid And they can bring sealed bids and it is what it is.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
So if you, the other two, just for you, Michelle's, the big sample, they're the white folders are more for collars, but they'll be that general.
Picture.
But they're inside, and I can show you
The
afterwards.
pattern
They're
of it,
inside
yeah.
there, yeah, it'll be a wood grain, but I can show you too, cause there's different size plates
Okay.
you can get. So,
Okay, sounds good.
I can show you that.
All right.
That's my knowledge on it at
Okay.
this point.
So I guess I have a question on it. When are we gonna pull this trigger on this to, say whether we are or not? And the reason I'm asking that is because, you know, I don't wanna move in the wintertime, number one.
I thought we already did
Well,
last
not-
month.
No, not
We're
really.
not?
We're
Okay.
we're
Okay.
still taking in things,
Okay.
but I just,
My thought is,
what's your thoughts on it?
well, my thought is that, and that is, I was just getting ready to say to Brian, that I can have that number next month. I feel like the consensus is it's what we need to do.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think
Right.
that's, I don't think, from my
I think that's
understanding
what
of
we- I
talking
think
to
we agreed
people,
with that
talking
last week,
amongst
last
us at the
month, yeah.
meetings, I think it needs to be done. Now it's just, but we can't pull the trigger until we get some somewhat numbers to
Some number,
know.
yeah.
I mean, we have a couple, but we need a firm price on the flooring or somewhat firm price on the flooring. Brian needs to get some kind of decent estimate of what the rework's gonna do, or, you know, what extra electrical. But if we could, just my opinion, if we could have numbers next month, I feel like if we could have some budgetary numbers next month, I feel like we could pull the trigger
Okay, yeah.
and make
And I asked
the
that.
announcement. Now, my question on that, do we have to bring it, I mean, is it one of these 2-month things, or can we just decide if we get the numbers and it's gonna be within the budget? And
Yes, you
I
can.
think the budgetary number, we need to not think we're gonna get top dollar for that either. We
Absolutely
need to, what was it, 112?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to be somewhere more around 100, and if we get 112 for that and actually 15 for that lot, then we're just money ahead, and
I agree.
maybe
Right.
upgrade a couple things here or there, but I don't think we wanna set our budget at thinking we're gonna get
Right.
top
Yeah.
dollar.
Right.
I feel like we will get.
Right, no, I don't
feel like
think
we'll
we
get
should.
112, 115
Yeah.
for the building. I'm not convinced that anybody's gonna give us $12,000 for that
Yeah.
parking lot.
I'm not
That's
either.
just me.
But,
Yeah.
I agree.
just a thought here, and after talking to Matt Walters. I mean, is there any reason we can't stick a for sale sign in the lot? And start with that. Cause he felt like it should be two separate transactions as well.
I'm all, yeah.
But I mean, we're not out, we don't have to maintain it, we don't have to do
Right.
anything with it, we're not doing anything with it right now.
Right.
With that said, is there, you know, there's 900 realtors in Montgomery County, so do you have a preference? I know that Matt, he does more appraisal side, I think, but I don't care, I just wondering why we couldn't get that moving on at least the lot. Because regardless, we don't need it.
Can we, from a legal standpoint, just put a sign in there that says for sale by owner, or can we not do that legally?
I mean.
I have a feeling who's gonna buy it, and I
I
don't think
do
we need to pay
too.
realtor fees if that's who's gonna get it.
I do too, but we still need closing, title work,
But-
closing
Yeah.
costs and
And
all
I
that stuff, and
Matt would probably be willing to do that for
well,
a
and I
set
wasn't
fee.
sure since he'd already done the appraisals, if he was willing to take that on or not. Do you want to
I can
contact
talk to
him and
but
see?
I'll see him tonight, I'm
All
sure.
right, maybe find that out, but I just felt like that was something that, I mean, I think that's gonna take a motion and a vote to go ahead
Can
and
we-
do that.
And we can legally try to sell it. I just feel like
Sure.
we ought to try to sell it by owner. It's gonna save us.
I mean, if you, I'm not saying you can't sell it by owner, that's not it, I'm saying that you have to have someone that's gonna do all of the
Yeah.
paperwork for it. Title work. Yeah, title work, yeah, I don't think we should have.
I will
a-
ask-
Mess with it.
And I can say something to him, but I'm also fine with the realtor, and obviously we all know a lot of realtors, so
Yeah.
it's
I don't
throw a
care
dart,
which way,
throw a
yeah,
dart at the board, and
Right,
whoever it lands
right.
on, that's who gets to sell it.
I mean, if Matt will walk you through the closing of it, that's a great idea, he's already done the appraisal on
I
it.
do know now that, as far as if we decide to go realtor, there's negotiations now. They can't have set fees anymore.
Oh, really?
You can negotiate with the realtor of what
Yeah.
your fee's gonna be.
Yeah, there's nothing that says we have to have a realtor. That's okay. We just have someone to do, and you can get a title company for that part. They could probably do it as well. But,
You can call Minnie too and ask what their fee is.
I mean, I worked at an abstract title company, but and I've closed loans for 10 years, but I can't do both jobs. So, that I can't do.
So why don't we find out the information and then you can send a text or something, and maybe before next month we can get it
I can.
going, or?
Well, you
I'll
can
know.
vote to go ahead and put it out there to sell it, and then we can get getting the people's not, I don't know that you have to have a vote on who you pick necessarily.
I would text him right now, but I don't get service.
Oh, that's okay. But, that's not, you don't have to vote unless you guys just want to vote on the exact person.
I-
It's,
I have no problem.
he's the one that's already been vested in it anyway,
I'm
so
good with whatever.
if Jeremy's willing to
I-
find out.
Yeah, I'll ask him, but I would make a motion that we put the empty lot for sale, as soon as we can figure out whether it's by owner or with a realtor. And I can talk to Matt about I will talk to Matt about just doing the paperwork.
Okay.
I will also talk to him about, because if he's gonna do a 3% or something, it's probably gonna be about the same money as what he would charge. So having it on the board and getting it out there would probably end up potentially get us more money.
True.
When there's more people can see it, so.
Yeah.
I will talk to him tonight, and then I will send on that part, I'll send a text in our text group of what he said.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Also,
Opposed,
when
same sign?
if you put it with one realtor, they all get it, they
Yeah,
everybody,
anybody can sell it.
so.
Okay, so I was gonna say this,
Cindy.
Marla,
Yeah.
let Cindy, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. I'm having a break from my toddler, so I'm good. I'm good. So the first thing is a donation. The festival is asking for donation. The festival is September 5th and 6th. For porta potties and other expenses that we run into. Whatever you guys would like to get as a donation.
You've always given before, I can't remember how much they've given to that.
How
Is
much
that-
did
is
we
that
give
a-
last year?
It's out of the force.
Well, let's see what you have in your, because it comes out of your promotion line. And you have like roughly $3,200, or no, I'm sorry, $3,200 in your promotion line is what you have. So,
You know what we gave last year, do you remember?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know.
I was thinking.
I was too.
I was
I
thinking
think it was
1,000.
about, yeah.
So I think it was more than that.
Was it?
I think you gave more than
1,500?
1,000, but I don't remember what it was. It don't matter that you got 3,200, you can figure out, what is best to.
Do you also get anything else like the crowns or flowers or something?
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
that
you'll do that too.
Yeah.
Anybody wanna make a motion to give festival?
I'm good with whatever. I mean,
Well,
I
I'm
don't know what
thinking,
the right.
I was thinking we did two of more than 1,000. How about 1,500?
That's fine with me.
1,500
Do we
because,
have a
because you're gonna have to have
money?
banners and all that other
Yeah.
Well, that'll be separate. That's
Right,
under the
that's separate.
pageant.
That's under the.
That's-
This
this
is
is
for
just-
the festival.
Yeah.
Festival.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You are gonna have to do that, but that's not the
Okay,
same thing.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Then, yeah, if that's the case, then maybe 1,000 to the
1,000 and
festival
then
and do
500
something for the pageant.
Is that,
So last year, the sashes are usually 90. They went up to 108 this year. And then you guys did give 500 for a scholarship. I just sent last year's off to her school, which she's going to Purdue. So they haven't received that in because they're on break in the office right now. So they let me know they received it, but they're working on getting it in her account and everything. If you guys would like to do that again, I know the girls appreciated that, and it was nice for them, or for her to get that, for schooling.
Okay, you said Jeremy 500 for the pageant for the scholarship thing that we did last year.
If that, yeah, the sashes are 108 if you guys want to still do that.
I think that's a
the
nice
fun you
thing
guys-
that the town can do. that's,
But let's go back to the
Yeah,
festival.
let's
Yeah,
do
yeah,
the
yeah,
That's
festival.
where we got a
Let's
motion.
do the festival first.
So are you doing a 1,500 or are you doing 1,000?
Let's do 1,000.
that 1,000. Let's do 1,000.
And who seconded that?
I make most we do,
I'll second it. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I got you abstaining.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Now we'll go on to the,
Now the sashes and the scholarship, so that's like 608 because 500 for the scholarship and then 108 for the sashes.
I will make a motion to do the 608 to the pageant to pay for the sashes and a $500 scholarship.
I second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Are you good with that?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I meaning to get in here before now, but had some surgeries and things. So.
Okay.
I make the check out to the Darlington Festival?
No, to CFI.
Okay.
Do I need to ask about the rental or the using the community center?
Yes.
I
So,
got, yeah.
so we have practice on August 5th, 7th, and 8th in the evening, all day on Friday to decorate, and then the pageant is Saturday. If we could use the facilities for those days.
I would make a motion to let them use the facilities.
A second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
You'll have to get with me when that gets closer, or Michelle, and get a key.
Perfect. I'll do that. And then I'll send you. You still want to send you an invoice?
I do. I need
I'll
those. I
send
need
it
an
to you.
invoice for both.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
And then do you want to just pick the checks up?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know.
I will.
I can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
Back to my
Have a
crazy
good evening.
toddler.
Have a good holiday.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thank you for doing everything you're doing.
Okay, so now we're ready to go on to, do you have anything from the attorney?
I had him, right back, Brian's gonna talk about it. So the Aqua, contract, the Aqua sent a contract for the
It's a legal,
lease, actually.
what they require legally. If we can put our antenna for the meter reads on their tower.
Oh,
They're not gonna charge us anything, but there's you say it was 47-page legal description.
yeah, I'm sure they have to have that to
Yeah.
cover themselves.
Yeah, I had Tyler look it over. He didn't have a problem. Well, his exact words says, it doesn't give me heartburn. That's what he said. So his exact words. However, and I started filling it in because it's a Word document and I started filling it in. But there is a piece I gotta go back and talk to him because it says in there that we'll pay the property taxes for it. I mean, they're only $52, but I don't know why we would do that.
Yeah.
So, I'll ask him if we can just take that section out because I don't know why we would pay the property taxes on the water tower.
Right.
But, anything else, I don't think he had a problem with at all, so I'll ask him again to dissect it, then I'll bring it, I'll try to get it to you on the August, is that gonna be something that August?
Yeah, we.
Okay. All right, so,
And I don't even know if they got the correct voltage out there to even do it, but until we find out if we can do it.
Okay.
We would have something to try to do that. So,
do you wanna put that out first?
well, I got to Jared, I hope he wants to system there, sleeping around.
Well, yeah, that's got a point too. So, wow, okay, cool. We'll talk.
Yeah, key to that, don't you? Well, then you fenced in, is it actually
What?
tires not fenced in? It is fenced in.
It is.
You have a key to get in that part? I didn't think you did, just the gates.
No, our connection, yeah, we can get in the gates and our connection, the hydrant's outside the fence, so.
Alright, I'll find out. I'll talk to you.
That's to be determined at the office meeting. Maybe there'll be something that.
It's a very grown out thing.
It is very well, yeah, it's in a book, so.
Okay, we have wastewater report.
Jeremy, did you see,
I
I
did.
forwarded it all to you guys, I have it here. Did Troy say anything about that to you?
He did not,
Okay.
and
that's
to
okay.
be totally honest, I meant to call him today and I just didn't get it done.
Well, typically those, when we get those things from IDEM, they take care of them. And we
Talking
don't.
about the violation.
Mm-hmm,
You know, that was down there at Fiddler's.
yes,
In County Endicott's, it was Memorial Weekend.
okay,
Both pumps was full of, I'll call them wipes, fiber disposable wipes. So it locked up both pumps and it backed up and overflowed. So they have to turn in a report by Troy. Came over, we pulled the pumps, cleaned them out, and they're both working.
okay.
So that's what that I did.
Yeah, this is just for us to have knowledge that it happened and all that, so, but, thank you.
Yeah.
I figured it was, because most of the time we get these, that's all it is for knowledge, because it's always taken care of, so,
So,
that's all I have.
on that, the Firenator, if you're ever out there, it's a big thing that goes in a circle. Got a 90-degree gearbox on top of it. It's leaking oil, been leaking oil for a long time. They got a cake pan under it. It's not bad leak, but of course when it rains, the cake pan fills up and then the oil drips into the Firenator and then you get an oil leak. They're gonna get a price on getting that repaired, pulling it, getting it sealed. So.
It's not affecting the tomatoes that grow, is it?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
no.
It's got some good plants.
So, and the generator guy was out there today. We had to replace a switch on the generator, so it transferred. But doing that, the blower breaker, not because of that, but found out the blower breaker is bad. I gotta order a new breaker, and that's probably gonna be pretty pricey. So.
If they were rates.
Right?
Well, new one's over 5,000, but last time I bought a,
Reman?
they call them remans. What they do when factories and stuff close down, they take all these out and resell them. So.
Doesn't really seem like enough, 5,000 for a breaker.
Yeah. So. That was all. So.
Anything else with them that you'd like to add?
I don't know. He was supposed to get quotes on getting all of them washed out degrees.
Yeah, I haven't gotten those yet.
I'll talk to Troy again on that.
Okay.
And we can check with Dutchers, but I don't know if they got something that can handle that much material. I'll have to talk to.
They just have that one back truck that I got.
Them things are pretty good size down there. I can talk to him and see.
What about Bernard Carl? Do you have anything?
He don't have a back truck. He hauls that, that drying bed stuff out.
Mhm.
But, there's an outfit in Whitestown they use. They come in, spray them down, degrease them, and then pump all that sludge and grease out of the bottom. That's specifically what they do. So it's a nasty mess.
Mm.
So that would be another thing. Use some estimate on that. So I think I said on my shoulder.
Money. Okay, Brian, do you have anything for the electric?
No, we're busy. We're busy since it's slowing down all right. So,
Thanks for getting those weeds
Oh,
taken
you're
care of.
welcome.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It's looking pretty bad.
yeah. We sprayed that once, but with all this rain.
With all the rain on it, just,
Got right
just
back.
popped back.
So,
Looks good, thank you for
You're
doing
welcome.
that.
still
And,
working on signs, I don't know if I mentioned last time, Gary Cox, I think he said he's got a CNC router where he can do the stenciling for the sign, the wordage we're gonna put on the streets, the no
Oh.
parking business only. And then the Stello's, the company, I'm gonna try to get the sign for the no truck route, so hopefully it still works.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Did Palmer mention anything to you about, would be the side right here where he was wanting to know if he could get a sign in the town, get a sign and put up that no parking loading zone. Because when they don't park in front of the businesses, they're parking over there. And then when he
Put the
has,
same wordage on there.
yeah, he's like, that's where I load and unload everything, and then you can't go get them because you don't know who they are or where they belong
Just put the business parking on there.
on that side.
Yeah,
Okay.
as well.
would that affect, like when we have library board meeting?
No.
Because that would be after hours,
Yeah.
and surely wouldn't be having any delivery.
No.
Most of the time it's the overnight parkers that,
Yeah,
They were
Don't
supposed to
wait
be
till-
one that did it all.
well, yeah, and parks are both there.
yeah,
Parks-
yeah. I didn't wanna mention the name, but, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I think, like to give him a little bit of frustration maybe, but
So I'll tell the girls on the library board, because if they see no parking for business, they
Yeah.
won't park.
Well,
there.
that's the thing too, when we do this no parking thing, business only, you know, if we have a funeral here or a funeral at the Methodist church,
Yep.
people are gonna have to park there,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna fill up downtown, probably. It's the police's discretion and they'll know, but
And we just meet one night a month, and it's
Yeah.
only for about 20 minutes,
you
so.
know, if they have
We're not
a
there
big,
very
it's
long.
typically during business hours. I mean,
they have
Yeah.
a big event here, you know, most of the traffic overflows to Main Street
Yeah.
and this side street, so you can't keep people from parking there, but it's the overnight stuff that
Right,
gets abused.
okay. So does that cover the MVH too then?
Yeah, unless there's something you got for me.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
I don't have anything other side. I'll see you tomorrow.
We have the reports from the town marshal.
I forwarded them to you.
Yeah, yeah, the monthly schedule and the activity log.
Yeah.
Have anything else from them?
I don't have anything else from him.
Seems wrote a citation.
He did write a citation.
Does that money come straight to the town?
Yes. He did do.
First time I've seen one on there that they
That's
actually
the
wrote.
first time I've ever seen one since I came here and said, but I don't know how that works, so,
Must have really done something wrong.
him and,
Or had been warned
Yeah.
multiple times beforehand.
yeah, him and Shelby have really been hitting the alleys. Well,
I noticed.
Brian probably would have wanted to know at that too, because I know they were wanting that done, but they were really working on the alleys and, it's a little bit of a process to see, you know, whose vehicles in the alley or whatever the case may be, I don't know, but they worked hard on that. And
Now,
he's
I'm
like, we'll
glad they've
continue
been
on.
doing that, cause they were parking, the people behind us park their vehicle in front of their garage, then it sticks out enough that we can't get down the alley,
Yeah.
cause it's a big truck. Yeah. So they take care of, that's really nice, cause I like to go either way out my alley.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can.
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, so I think getting on that now is good because I know when they get into town, probably gonna be the next thing that the electric company is gonna wanna boost or improve. Let's put it that way, so that part will already have been in play.
Yes, yes. Okay. Bob, do you have anything about the park?
Well, as you know, we got the new basketball goal up.
Nice.
It cost us 11 bags of concrete extra because I made the hole too big, which I didn't make the hole too big. That's what we took out, the old one. And Brian come over with the line truck and tried to, it wouldn't even budge it.
Yeah.
It shook the pole and that was it. So Connor brought his big excavator over and he had to cut the concrete down a couple inches, dig that out, cut down a couple more and dig it out. And then he was able to wiggle it enough to get it out.
They put that into the state.
It wasn't going anywhere. So
And that's a bonus, he took some extra concrete.
he
away.
took,
did
while
it.
he was there, he
So
loaded that
nice.
pipe
So
and he
nice.
went back. We've been cleaning the fence row out and along the back there. He went back there and loaded up all them chunks of concrete that we had sitting by that fence. So I took them with him. So
Nice.
so far we haven't got a bill have we?
No.
Yeah. I bought his lunch, so at least he got paid.
Well, good.
I've had some nice compliments on our park lately from people that aren't from here.
Well, that's the whole objective.
Girls
So
in Crawfordsville that I exercise with, I've had about 5 of them say, this is the best park in Montgomery County.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Baseball.
Yeah, yeah.
So and I had to have some trees, which a couple of you have been up there and seen them. The one right behind the dugout was really bothering me.
Oh, yeah.
And when the limb fell out of it that one night, that was the end of that.
Yeah.
So I got verbal quotes from several companies. Well, from 2 out of the 3. The third one called me 3 days in a row. Yeah, I got busy. I'll come tomorrow. I didn't make it. And then tomorrow's I'll come. But the first one was for those 3 trees, and they all died.
Yeah.
And the guy that came out the first time said he was an arborist, and they were decorative red maples that they have a lifespan of about 30 years. And then he asked me, do you know when they were planted? Well, I'm guessing 30 years because they're all dead. So, but the first quote was $23.50 to take all 3 trees and stumps out. And then I got a hold of the next one, and he come in at $1,800. So
Did you say 2350
yes,
and 1800?
1,800. So of course I went with the 1,800. Since we had them 3 taken out, which looks great to me. I mean, we'll have to plant something else just to get some shade in there, but those were a problem. They had limbs falling out of them. So now we have the issue with that big tree that's probably there when the school was there by the playground.
Yes, that was.
I mean, that thing has 9 arms going out, but
It's the one.
I had one probably that big fall out of it the other day, and there was kids at the playground. So,
Oh,
Well,
That's-
last year it was Mike.
well, last year I had Mike Wilcox come and trim it up and cut all the dead stuff out, but it's dying too. And I had a couple of them come look. I got verbal quotes. The first one was $2,800 for the tree and the stump.
And that's grinding everything gone.
That's the,
That-
well,
they're gonna.
we're saving money because 6 months ago I had them dig me Max went back there and dug me a big hole like a burn stuff in. So it saved us several $100. Took it back there and shoved it in a hole and set it on fire.
And
I
all the
said-
grinding they did, we put in the monument.
Yeah, all the salt, all the dust out of the stumps, we cleaned out the monument and put it up there and that. So, but we got 2,800 for that tree and the stump, and the next one I got was 2,000. And he said he would take all the stumps out for us while he's there, the ones along that back fence row,
If you've not been back there, there's probably what, 10?
12, 14
Yeah,
probably.
there's stumps
Yeah.
everywhere. Back,
Oh,
you know, like
where the
electrical
pine-
boxes.
Well, it's like we did, yeah,
Yeah.
we did that out here at the pine trees, but we didn't have enough money to do that side too, so we waited. But he's gonna do them all since he's there, and I told him I'd run the stump grinder for a while too if he needed me to do it. But for $2,000, we're getting that tree down, the stump out, and all the stumps. And I said, yeah,
that's great.
but yeah, it's gotta come down, because that's,
Yeah.
when we got to looking at it, some of the center trunks. And what got my attention, that last big rain we had, I come out of the shop, the rain was coming down and shooting out of that center
that
trunk,
tree.
and I thought, oh my God, that's hollow. So it's pretty hollow, so,
Been there a long time.
yeah, I'll bet.
So
It's-
you guys good with that?
Well, the kids still climb in it, that's what scares me is,
Oh, yeah.
We did, that's 2,000 is a lot cheaper than the liability of falling on a kid.
That's what we felt.
One
like
limb
we-
hitting a kid is gonna cost the town one
Yeah.
mess.
I know last meeting we said, and I know Nicole's like, I think that's just, we have to do it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's too big a tree to,
There's a crack in the slide.
There's a crack in this line. Oh.
I brought Blakely down there and it's all broken off on one side, but there was a crack in that, tube slide. So you might check on that.
I'll have to look at it, yeah. Yeah, that stuff's expensive.
Oh my
Wow.
And,
Yes. I know, we did it for the church and we had to get grants and all kinds of stuff, we couldn't afford it.
and I owe you an apology because I honestly don't remember you asking me to have Jason get in touch with him, but you're in touch with him.
okay.
You're in touch with him now.
He's
Yeah.
done it, it's done, yeah.
Okay, I apologize.
Cause right before he went on vacation,
Yeah, I just,
that's,
Yeah, you
God, that's
I
been
mean, I've seen him
2 months ago, I
I've
think.
seen him 1,000 times, so
Yeah.
I just totally spaced it. So
Well, and that's why I said something. I thought, well, maybe he's forget, and I'm glad you said that, cause I did have a phone call the other night.
Zachary? No,
Hmm?
is it Zachary? No, Jared?
Jared Zachary, yeah. He called me and asked me what I was gonna do with the ball diamonds. I said, well, we're still working on it. We hired somebody and that didn't work out, so we're gonna stop that process that we got going, cause I don't know how many hours they've spent on there and I got more water now than I've ever had. So I can't do that. But he said that he's on vacation with the family. When he gets back, he's gonna get with me. He said he's got every piece of equipment we could ever want. And he said he bought out Rick Reed, had the lime, so he bought him out. So he said he would donate however much we need, and he'd pay for everything. But I said we can't just put lime on top. That's the easy way out. I mean, it saves your rainouts because you get 10 inches of lime, but if the kid slides, it cuts him. It shreds your pants. So he said, well, how about if we sit down and we go through and we get some other people's opinion about mixing it in with dirt and sand and clay, and I'll still donate it. Maybe we can get it to where the water drains in. I said,
So that is awesome, Jared. I do know that, and I assume they talked to you about it, but I just heard it not too long ago, that Squirrel, Brian is working with some different stuff, because I don't know if Josh had talked to you maybe about what you're kind of wanting, but I know they're messing around with some different type of soil and mixtures
yeah.
to try to see if, and
Well,
my
and-
understanding is that this is, obviously, they haven't talked to you yet, but that they were working towards doing some donating also to try to squirt from US Ag and whatnot to try to get the mixture that we need.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know,
He said something to me at the concession
so I do know that, so it sounds like things might be looking up for all the way around.
I told him I'd take all the help I could get. So
You'll take it all.
No, absolutely.
yeah.
So
And,
between,
you know-
between those two and you and Jared, hopefully we can.
Well,
get
and-
something.
I said,
Jared needs it.
God, your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law, Kurt?
No, Douglas.
Oh, Jason.
Jason Douglas. We had him. Elston Park hired him to do the diamonds down there. And of course, that was years ago. But he come in with a little dozer, because I remember driving down 231, and he had all the dirt in a pile in the middle of the field. And I thought, we play tonight. My God. So I turned around and went back, and he goes, I'll have it laid out. It'll be okay. And to this day, when it rains, the water runs off towards first base and down third base line and out the dugout.
Don't tell him I bragged on him. He is
But
good on
the
it.
problem is, yeah, he did very good, but he went on vacation and left whoever worked for him to do the other ones. And he did them about like what we got up here now. So, and for whatever reason, things didn't go well, but he did a fantastic job on that diamond. So if I could get his help and then get Jared's help, and
Yes.
between the equipment, the knowledge and the material, we might actually get stuff fixed.
That'd be great.
So, but you, Jason, did do whatever you were wanting already, what you wanted him.
He did it at Elston on Diamond 3.
But
He
with
just talked to you the other night.
Oh, yeah.
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 And I taught him down to ball diamonds and asked
Because
him.
he
So.
yelled at me for not saying something, that's why I apologize. 'Cause
Oh,
he
you
didn't yell
know.
at, he didn't yell at me, he's like, were you supposed to tell me something? I said,
He was at
Well-
the concession stand getting food, and
Yeah.
Bob came around and they just start talking, that's how.
Well, I just remember, it might have been, we didn't say have him call you. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I remember the conversation asking about, it. You said, well, he's going on vacation. He won't be back for a few weeks. That was the only part of the conversation I remember, so I might not have told you, who knows?
it's in the works, so that's good.
Yeah. As long as I get the help,
That'll work out.
The air conditioning unit in the concession stand is completely gone. So we brought over our window air conditioner because there's no way that Tracy or I can work without air because it's way too hot with all of this stuff. But what was the quote? It was insane.
well,
Well, it's not
it wasn't
It's not
insane,
insane.
but for that little room,
But
it
to
was.
put money into it, I'm
It's
sorry, that's what I mean.
$6,500
Yeah.
to replace the AC unit and pump and all that.
The quote was fine, I just thought, Bob, we just need.
But then he gave us a quote. He said a mini split would cool it just as well, and it'd be about $1,500 cheaper. So, but
We thought that maybe just getting another window air conditioner would be plenty because
well,
it's only used when me and Tracy are doing that, where it's not.
the problem is the electrical is you got a bunch of old outlets, and if you don't plug stuff in the right place, it kicks the breaker, and then
everything out. It will. You'll be cooking and it'll be gone.
So not necessarily for like right now, but
Next
moving
year.
forward and maybe before next year is.
yeah. I mean, you can get by with a window air conditioner.
Brian and Jason
That would be awesome.
update the electric. I mean, is
Yeah.
that something we need to be considering?
That would be wonderful because
Yeah.
we really have to
Have separate breakers for a lot of them.
and separate
fryers.
all of that
You
equipment to
wouldn't
use
think
it.
the roasters and
Yeah.
that stuff would burn. It sucks a bunch of.
It really
bunch of
does.
power.
And there's a lot. I mean, we've got
And
a
that's
microwave,
something-
we've got everything.
That's something Brian and Jason can do. We
Yeah.
can have them,
Yeah.
from a legal. we
And
can ask them
absolutely,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it'd be like them doing this
Yeah.
building because you own it. So, for the town.
Then, I mean, I don't think we need to vote on this. I would probably think about what you need and, I mean, not saying we can afford it for sure, but try to figure out a way to get it, cause
For
try to figure out what you really want or get with Brian and where you want
Oh, in the
outlets, so
concession,
we
yeah.
can kind of get a number together.
well, and I'm
Does
gonna
it
need
have to
some.
Change out the whole panel, or is it already 200 amp panel?
I didn't even look at
No,
that.
you know what
I'm
saying?
sure it is 200 because we've got.
I think I can answer that. Brian said that the panel needed to be boosted.
Okay, then it's
Because
probably
Or
100
even
100
the
amp,
second
yeah.
panel,
Yeah.
add a panel
Yeah.
or whatever it might be.
But I'll have to get out because a few outlets added to the shop at the park because
And that
I went
was
to
my
plug
thing
in.
with Melissa.
which I bought I don't know if you even know, I bought a grinder, a blade sharpener from Moore Place. Because I was paying like $15 every time I took them to John Deere, and I keep the blade sharp and the deck clean, so it cuts good. So, but I bought that,
Yeah.
and now I can't get him.
But then I think we ought to start, trying to come up with it so we can have a game plan and give us
Yeah.
time to try to come up with the money.
Yeah, because the refrigerator would have worked for her umpires or their umpires, but the minute you plug anything else in,
It kicks something
it
out.
keeps going,
Yeah.
it goes from here to here to here, and it's just not made to hold that much, and so,
Here's another
You
thing
can
that I just happened
do the
to see, and
garage.
I don't know that this has to be talked about here, but I was gonna say something to Josh and Melissa that I just seen that Waveland is putting on the town of Waveland, is putting on I don't know if it's a town, but it's going on a turkey run, and the money's going to help upgrade their ball diamonds in Waveland.
Yep.
And
like a fundraiser.
their
Yeah.
ball diamonds, their
Mhm.
playground equipment and stuff, and they're around their community center. I don't know nothing about Waveland. I just happened to come across it on my Facebook feed. And I thought about talking to Josh about seeing if he would.
Yeah.
I would be willing to help just because I like
Yeah.
golf and
Yeah.
to help out the park and stuff. But I didn't know if that might be something to try to do to.
Me and Tracy were trying
Getting
to
a
come
little
up
money.
with something to have it like a table, we thought about a table at the festival to raise money for actually not for the concession stand, even though that's where we work out, but the playground equipment.
That's outrageous. I looked at some of that
It's
playground.
thousands of
Oh,
dollars,
God, yeah.
and it is insane. But you know, a lot of people use the playground, and it's
Well,
just
I had to help a lady the other day.
we're trying to come up
her
with something that we can do.
12-year-old daughter got in the baby swing and got stuck.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
50-50 and
Well, that's what we thought.
50-50 during
You know.
the thing, I mean, that's.
Should we get something like that going, like the
Well,
fire
we've got a
department?
raffle for the fire department right now for a Blackstone and
But I don't think we
$250
can use it
meat
because
package that-
we don't have the license to do that.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, Tracy, we can't do that because we looked at it before.
You could do a 50-50 or I would have to bring it up at a meeting, but as far as that, I'm sure the Legion would be more than willing to
Okay.
let the town and or the ball for the kids. I mean, we sponsor a team every year anyway, or actually
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we could figure something out to use our gambling license.
Because the
That wouldn't
fire
be an
department has
issue at
one
all.
too, and I knew you guys did, but I know when we did the festival before, didn't we? We ran into, I was like, well, we can do bingo all winter or something, but then you have to have a gambling license.
We can do any fundraising.
I know, but
Which is bad because you go around, you feel like you're holding your hand out all the time asking for money.
Yeah.
But it's not
But
cheap,
that's-
it's not cheap
that's
to
the
do
only
things
way.
like that.
And I don't know, I, to bring that up, since you got on it, I'm just gonna ask Tyler, and I won't do this if you guys go, absolutely not. But there was money left to the covered bridge, as we all know.
Yes.
That money's just sitting there. And that covered bridge is redone. That bridge gets historical money every month, $3,500. But it's in a park fund.
Yeah.
I don't know if that can be used for anything else, like when that was designated, how it was designated, or if it was designated, because the fund says park restricted. I didn't know if that could include, because I know they were gonna move the covered bridge, you know, and all that stuff, and I know they were gonna use that. Is that, I'm asking you guys, I'm probably gonna ask Tyler, is that something that would be available to get a start on new equipment, or if it just strictly has to sit there until the covered bridge needs something? And I don't know, but, Tyler's gonna
So
look
the
at
other thing we can look at is the grants. They have playground, a lot of these companies, cause I was in on it with the church and
They
we
do.
call these companies and these companies will set you up with, you need to contact this person and you can apply for grants that will help pay. I mean, we got a track for the kids to ride their tricycles. We got
How-
playground equipment.
How
We
long's
got-
that equipment been there? Do you guys know?
We have to match.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
It's been there as long as I can remember, but I,
It's been there that
20
long.
years.
Yeah.
20 years.
I know,
I remember when they got that,
I
of
don't
course they
know.
took all the old swings down that we used to have.
Got rid of the witch's hat for
And,
maple.
Exactly.
that thing was the best.
That was the best.
See, there's
But that, the merry-go-round is still pretty.
Another one.
I've been standing on it trying to, I gotta repaint it because it's all coming off, but I spun it the other day because I thought, well, I can take this off and grease it while I'm here, and I spun it, and it just kept going, so it's doing great.
I had one other question.
I don't
just
know, ask
simple
Tyler,
one.
I would say ask Tyler.
What's your feedback for the co-ed been like so far?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback, get a lot of posts on Facebook, so I hope it goes over.
I do too.
Okay, I'll
Cause
talk
she
to
was
you
a
about it.
teacher.
Okay.
We told them if they got a leak going, we'd get a concession stand open for them, so.
Yeah, Tracy said.
And I told them I had plenty of softballs, so.
Are they not doing the Crawford Zone?
Yes, I underbid them.
A little bit,
Well, they have to pay for softballs. I'm providing the softballs.
that's how you ended it.
Yeah. I'm providing so they don't have to pay for that. And I told them when I wasn't playing, I'd umpire, so
He's donating your time,
I'll help, yes.
donating your
I am
time.
a soft-
That used to be the bid out here.
We played for
There
years,
was probably 15 teams when we played up here.
at least. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming in well, isn't it?
I definitely think that it's worth asking about that because,
Yeah,
I mean, not that we need to drain it to do stuff up there, but if
No.
we could do,
That's
just
what I
say
say,
do
if I could
grants
match
and match a
grants.
grant, then that's,
Yeah.
we're money ahead.
but then if I can find out if I can't, I can find out what the grant match would be, then maybe I can start some type of fundraiser if we can start some type of fundraiser.
Well,
for
cause
the
just the fields alone, when I got quotes on doing them, a company out of Indianapolis, to come out, redo the field. They'll take the bases, pegs, everything out, redo the whole field, the lines, cut all the new lines, put the infield back in with turfus or some similar, and it was like 11.5 per field. Well, we don't have that kind of budget, but you know, they do beautiful work, but they all do, so.
Here's the other thing with Darlington, and it always has been good, that I believe if we can come up with a solid concrete plan and and I'm just using this for instance, when we did the fundraiser to upgrade our electrical at Legion, we made a sign and it showed what our goal was. And if you have some,
Yeah.
and you can show, and the
Put it out so
people will give to. Darlington's a pretty
Yes.
giving community.
I agree,
and that-
they show up.
But you gotta have a set.
Yeah.
You gotta have a for lack of better words, concrete plan or
I
some,
agree.
some
What's
kind of.
the end
Know
goal?
what
Yeah.
you're doing, they don't
That
want.
we're not just trying to make money and figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
This is what we're raising money, and if we
Exactly.
can raise this number,
Yeah.
this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see the ball diamonds redone, or you're
Yeah.
gonna see new playground
Yeah.
equipment, or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
people will,
Don't.
businesses and individuals will show.
And I just asked, I played in Topeka, Indiana. They have 2 diamonds there. And they just recently turfed both fields. That was $300,000 per field. But you never have a rain out. I mean, the rain just soaks in, you play, unless it's lightning, you play. But so I asked him how he got enough money to do that. If he had fundraisers, because you know, we're pretty good friends, and he just laughed and he said, "No, luckily our county butts up to the toll road, so they have grants that we can apply for, and they paid for everything, both fields." I thought, man, $600,000.
They just passed a new law that any highway can be a toll road, so now, so we can make.
Well, there we go, 47, toll road 47. Yeah.
We can drive the toll house anywhere it needs to go.
I think we need to ask that question, and then,
I will,
then I think if we can put a plan together
I
and
mean,
get some
even-
pricing.
Even like the money we make from the festival can donate towards that, you know, because everybody always asks, what are you doing with your money? What are you doing? And well, there is no money a lot
I
of
was gonna say,
times.
so fast.
Well, both
I mean, it
dollars,
never-
we could.
When you're starting at 0 and ending with 0, there's not a whole lot.
And that
to
is
it there.
true, that is true, I understand that, you know I do, but yeah. But yeah, I agree with you, having a goal and putting on things.
And it's even something you could set up at we as the festival could set up. You may not be able as a town, but hey, we got this, you know, put a tank out or a fish tank or whatever and donate, see how much money we can make to go towards new
Yeah.
playground equipment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, cause I just, there's just a lot of things that are coming, and why we're on the veterans, Joe Ellis, it wasn't just, you could get one bench, but you could get multiple benches, so I got 3.
Yay,
And he's gonna put 2 at the park and 1 downtown, so.
good.
Cause he felt like the park would be a good place because people are up there and because it's for suicide, he wanted that, exposure, so hopefully, you know, that's 2 more benches to add up there too, and then 1 downtown, or over here, wherever you guys decide you want that to be,
Even one more is too many.
right? Oh, yeah, exactly, it is, and, you know, and that's such a sad thing that people don't even understand, and we could probably even get 1 downtown and up here, cause he's like, as long as I know how many we need to have made, so that's just something to think about too, but, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
code enforcement, do you have anything from Mike?
Yeah, so Mike had to go to court, he went on Monday, Tuesday, he went on Tuesday, for Academy Place, which is up by us. Honestly, they just should have done what he told them to, but they didn't, and I think that maybe they thought that it would go away, well, it didn't, and Tyler pushed forward with this, it's been taking about close to a year, I would say, but, the judge ruled in favor of the town because of our ordinances, the pictures that were taken and the lack of following up. Mike, had all of his, the stuff was like this high with this one property and pictures in it, even the day of, he went and took pictures that day and, I can't remember the exact amount, so I don't wanna quote that, but we get our money back from Tyler.
Good.
And I think that unfortunate, it's unfortunate, but I think that those are things that are just gonna have to stay in play with that follow-up and keep going to court. But with that, I have a couple of things to put, and I think I wanna say Jeremy is the one that said this maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago, and if it wasn't you, I apologize, it may have been Jen. But we're gonna have this again, like Mike's mowing Brant's property down here, we know that. We're paying him to mow that, and then I gotta try to file a lien in court. Well, Tyler files a lien in court, so, we'll get that back if something happens to that property. The thing with that property is somebody's paying taxes, but they're not the owner of that property, so it makes it a little unique. We are gonna have the one up by, the school. I don't know if you've been by there, but it's being foreclosed on. It is the one that the Pags lived in before, and then, Bridget's lived in, or got foreclosed on. The grass is, already being mowed, and they're not quite done. The bank's allowing them to get some stuff out.
There's another house that just got paper served, I know, because the gentleman happened to stop but served him, and that's Morrison's old house behind Cox's house, I don't. Between the trailer and.
Yeah, the white one?
Yeah, the white
house.
They got paper served.
So, nothing to vote on now, but something to think about.
Right next to your in-laws trailer, to the right, if you're looking at it to the right, where Lloyd used to live.
Yeah, the little house.
Lloyd Morris. Yeah.
Something to think about, it doesn't have to be done now, but probably at the same time, what are we doing with these yards? Because and I know, they're gonna get out of control. And, I don't know, I don't know what we can keep paying $100 a yard every week to get mowed.
Do we get paid back even, like, if it goes to sheriff's sale, then you?
Well, yes, you can in sheriff's sale if you got in before it went up for sheriff's sale. So,
if we're mowing right now and you're filing a lien and they quit paying their taxes and it goes to sheriff's sale, we'll get back the money that we have in lien already before it goes into sheriff's sale.
Okay, so there's 2 things there. Sheriff's sale is different from a tax sale. Tax sale takes 2.5 years before anybody can claim ownership. Sheriff's sale takes, I think it's 3 months, and then ownership. Both of those links, property tax, the person who buys that on that tax sale, they're the ones who have to do their own lien search, and they have to come to the town and see what's owed on that property. Sheriff's sale, they're buying it as is. That lien will be the one report that we should get back off of that sale. We should get them both, but they both happen in a different way. One would be 2.5 years out, one, or it's actually 3 installments behind, so that's why I say that.
I know it stinks, but, we can't let them go to crap.
Right.
We can't let it get overgrown and crap any worse than they are.
So
Is the one that Dale owns in the town limits?
Yeah. So
Letting it grow, aren't you?
We're over the hill. Well, that's.
Because one of you brought that up, and other towns have gone that route.
I did bring it up. And,
all right, I knew somebody did.
I hate to ask them to do that, but that might be where we're at.
That's what other towns are doing, for the simple fact that they don't have anywhere to pay. Not that Mike ain't doing a great job with Prince, but you're keeping up on that. $100 every week and a half is a lot to come out of one of our funds, and then wait
3 years to get it back.
We're already paying someone.
Well, and that, so it's been a big thing.
I'm not saying that we're paying them to mow yards, we're paying them to upkeep the town, and that is part of the town.
Exactly.
And it's just sad that there's not, and it is what it is, but it's just kind of, frustrating and really kind of unbelievable that there's not, after so long, there's not more that a town can do to force somebody's hand a little bit more.
I'll tell you why
I realize I'm not for the government being any more involved than they need to be, but there's certain things, it's like, this house down here where basically they could just flip the bird at you and your hands are totally tied. There's nothing we can do but fork out money. That's our only option. Fork out money or, and unfortunately, if it's gonna be $100 every week and a half, then we're gonna have to ask Brian and Jason to mow it.
Yeah.
Or maybe pay Phil the hourly rate and see if he would be interested in mowing those also.
Yeah.
At his hourly rate, which
Yeah.
would be I would think would be substantially cheaper than $100 every.
Well,
week.
some other
And I don't think $100 is too, I'm not saying.
No, I'm
$100
not
is too
either,
much money,
but it's
but-
the recoup time.
Yes,
That's the
absolutely.
recoup time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that, this is huge with towns, it is with cities, but it's bigger with towns. Cities make their employees do it, period. That's just how they do it. But towns are over here going, hey, what do we do? How do we fix this problem? Wayne does make their employees. But one of the things that was suggested in there was to get, like, the town invested in a mower, a push mower and a mower for that specific reason. It wasn't your industrial mower over here, and I mean, you go through mowers like, because it's a lot, but they specifically got, hey, you're gonna use this push mower, and you're gonna use this weed eater, and you're gonna use this used mower to mow these, because you don't know what kind of condition they are actually in, or what kind of condition they'll stay in, because people let it, like, they broke the windows out up here. You know, they have to have, like, if Phil does it, Phil's gotta have the equipment to do that, you know, so, I mean, we've got an extra push mower probably at the park, right? But our mowers break down a lot because of the, well, not a lot, but they always need maintenance.
It's what you mow.
Because it's 14 acres.
Yeah.
So, but I still think you'd be cheaper getting the equipment and finding, like you said, having someone be that designated person to mow,
Here's
because
the deal, if you're paying $100 a time, you can go get a decent mower for a couple $1,000s, a rider, not a zero turn, but just a rider.
Yeah.
And in one summer, you've paid for it.
that's what,
Obviously,
that's
it
how
ought
they
to
felt
last-
about it.
Obviously, it ought to last you quite a while.
Yeah.
And it can be
So-
used, I
Well,
mean,
and in my thought too, if we have our town employees, they're already under our liability. I mean,
they are,
we
Yeah.
bring somebody else, like, you know, we hire, like my husband, you hire my husband to do it, he's gonna have to have,
they
he's
do,
gonna be liability
They do.
for that,
they
so
do.
we've already got
Yeah.
those guys under our little
Yeah.
umbrella, basically,
Yeah.
and.
And I'm not saying that Mike wouldn't do it for what he
Right.
make, you know, he might go, well, if you guys are gonna provide the equipment, I'll do it for, you know, what I make an hour, because you're code enforcement. I don't know if he would or he wouldn't, or like you said, Phil, I know Phil does the electric plant, but sometimes Jason does the electric plant, so Phil doesn't,
And he
Yeah.
might not.
the hours
And
of
he
the
might
electric
not.
plant, he may
But-
not want it.
The long and short, and I know they're not gonna like it, but I don't see any other way around it, really, is than to ask them to do it. And if we need to look into a mower, then we need to look into a mower. Cause like you
They've
said,
got
it's-
a John Deere commercial mower sitting over there at the electric company.
It's not gonna go, the problem's not going away. I mean,
No.
whether these two go away or not, then the next one's right around the corner. So,
Do you want Mike, do you wanna offer that to Mike first, or do you want to, think about it for a while, or? I'm just asking because I know it's just what you said, you've got one over here, we got one over there, we've got that one right there. I don't know if anybody wants to touch this one right down here. The one over the hill, ain't nobody gonna touch that one,
that
that is,
one over there,
that's a
probably,
disaster.
or that one
Is
down
this in
there,
trouble too, across the street?
Right across?
Mrs. LePage's house, did you say was?
No, the one that Jeremy was talking
Oh,
about down,
yeah,
that's
okay.
coming up.
Yes, yes.
but this one down here, before we could expect anybody to do anything, we'd about have to pay somebody to come in
I
and
agree.
initially to get all the hazards out.
You'd have to walk every inch of that and make sure
Yeah,
that
I
you're not,
agree with you on that. But I'll tell you some other place that I think that the town, that we should take care of, and I was told it wasn't ours, but it just drives me crazy, is going towards your house, you go down the hill, where the creek,
Yeah.
that drives me insane.
Yeah.
And then right down on South Street, where Jackie lives and where the,
Yeah.
what is it, where the water comes through.
Yeah.
Those need to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
That one way down there, I mean, it's that tall, it has to be us, right? Because aren't we responsible for the
Yeah, storm drains.
storm drain? Thank
Yes.
you.
I didn't,
They're
I'll
all,
say Jeff does the other half, he mows Jackie's and he does the other half, but not that other half.
right, across the road, yeah. And maybe they just don't know, but, or maybe they aren't comfortable with doing that, but I feel like we need to, down by Nikki Fife's, that part is bad.
That's over. you.
Exactly, exactly. And I
Well,
thought it used to be
Yeah,
taken care of.
that just needs to be round up all the way down through
It
that
does.
waterway.
But I mean, that person could, that could be that too, right?
Well, it's the same,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just who it is, they're just not gonna do it, so I don't
It's a
know.
waterway, so you can't just spray it.
You can spray.
You'd have to get.
I mean, it used to be mowed, I know it did, but it
Yeah.
used to be clean as clean
Yeah,
could
when
be, right?
Gary lived, he took care of both sides. He
Okay.
just did it.
So, I mean,
That
those,
kid that lives in Herschel's little house, they're just not gonna do it, I mean, they're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think you could spray Roundup on it, kill it all, and do that about twice a year and call it a wrap.
whatever, I just know we need to get it cleaned up, it looks awful. So, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I wanted to
I mean,
get ahead of it.
to me, that would be considered no different than if somebody wasn't mowing their yard.
I agree.
And I feel like and maybe this is a question for Tyler, but I feel like from a legality standpoint of it, that Mike ought to be able to go give them a citation or a warning that they need to clean that waterway up.
Well,
Because
I
it's
don't know
overgrown and it's-
if it's part of their property, that's what I don't know about. We'd have to look on the map and see. I was thinking that it's the town's
Town.
Here's- Here's the
yeah,
other
that's the way
issue
I read
is
it before.
The kid that lives in that house, the person's little house, probably isn't gonna do it, and the kid, or the gentleman, the older guy, he's a veteran, and he's not able,
Yeah.
I don't even know who's mowing their yard now, 'cause I just noticed, and it's obviously been there, and I just have blinders on or whatever, but he has a couple trees down that now they're mowing around the trees, and I actually just went through my head yesterday, I need to go maybe just take my chainsaw, there's not a whole bunch there,
Yeah.
take my chainsaw down there and just cut them up and get them out of his yard for him.
Well, you can
And
ask
maybe get a
Phil.
couple other Legion member veterans that go down and help me do it, but
You
I
can
don't-
ask Phil, but
I
I think
feel
that
like-
the town took care of that.
I feel like the house on the corner, the gray house, or I know Gary used to take care of both sides, and honestly, Randy, and when they were still together living there, they kept it up, but I feel like that ditch, like, starts off in the corner house, and then when it jogs over a little bit, it ends up, like, there's a little wedge right down the hill, and where that takes a little jog to the right, I think that goes with the old Hampton house.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then,
it does.
and
'Cause
then the
John
other,
used to
then
keep
once
track.
it goes like this, it goes back to Herschel's old house or.
I'll look it up on the Montgomery County map
John
and
used to
see.
keep it mowed.
Yeah.
Hamptons lived
But it needs-
there,
it
and
needs
Dow's lived there, they mowed all.
Gary kept it nice, really nice all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I wanted to bring it up, not to cause any issues, it's getting out of
If it's
control.
the towns, then we have Brian and Jason go spray it or whatever. If it's not the towns, if it's actually the homeowners, then we need to, in my
Yeah.
opinion, as long as we legally can, we need to write citations and
I'll look it up.
get them to.
Excuse me.
Now, I'll look that up. Before you go to Brian and Jason, do you want to see if that's something that Mike wants to
I'm
put
good with,
hours in?
I'm good with anything to save us a little bit of money. I mean, I know my first thought would be have Brian and Jason, cause they're already
Okay.
being paid.
That's fine.
But they also were paying them a pretty salary, and rightly so,
Yeah.
to be, instead of being on a, instead of being up in a truck doing something that's, they're, productive, we'll have them get off.
But then again, them going over there and doing that opposed to sweeping the floor at the shop.
Yeah.
Time well spent. I mean, you're getting something out of
So
it.
there's it's
Yeah.
kind of both ways, so like I said, I'm good with,
Well, Mike
good
would
with
be,
whatever.
Mike would be at the fee for code enforcement officer. That's what I'm saying. Mike makes $15.60 an hour. That's what I'm asking you. Brian and Jason don't make $15.60 an hour. He would. I'm saying he volunteered, I know, I'm not saying pay him the $100 like at Brandt's. I'm saying, hey, this new position, do you want more money or hours? It's gonna be at this rate.
Well,
rather
he's
than-
not gonna wanna do it if, you're paying me $100 now and,
I know.
hey,
So
you wanna do it for
we're already
$15 an
paying- so
hour?
We're gonna start paying him again, but we're already paying them a salary. You see what I'm saying?
But you're
They're
paying
already-
Mike too as code enforcement, that's what I'm
I
saying.
understand, but we're gonna be paying Mike extra
Mhm.
hours where these guys, it's already gonna be figured into their salary,
That's true.
is what we're saying. So we aren't spending extra money.
Yeah,
by doing it
I'm
that
just,
way.
I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I get both sides of
it
it,
is,
but-
it is a catch 22, but at the end of the day, we've gotta get them mowed, so,
Well, you all can talk to them about that. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were and where we were gonna go with the.
Who's the liaison to electric?
Teresa, me. But, yeah, because we have got to, we're gonna have that, like you said, it's not gonna go away. The foreclosures aren't gonna go away, unfortunately. Rachel Arts is doing an amazing job buying houses and fixing them up. I will give you that, because she's trying to. But it takes a process to get them to that place, and in the meantime,
So if I talk to them, do you want me to tell them this is what you're going to do?
I'm not the person to
We're not
look at.
we're
It's
not
your
gonna-
guys'
I know,
decision.
I mean, we don't, if we give them a choice,
I
they're
mean,
gonna
it's really,
say, they're gonna say, no, we don't have time.
it's
We're
really,
too busy.
well, and
And I mean, I'm not gonna say it mean, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna say,
no,
this is.
I think, I mean, obviously their electrical work's gotta take precedence.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
I think we need to ask them to do it,
Okay.
see how it goes.
And if they
I
say
don't think,
absolutely no.
honestly, don't think there's gonna be an issue with one of them. One of them might give a little bit of hissy fit about it.
Well,
Yes.
But,
that's okay.
I think we have to ask them to do it and, maybe approach it to the, like, we'll see how it goes. If
Yeah.
we have to reevaluate, we reevaluate, but,
Right.
I mean, no, I don't wanna take money out of anybody's pocket, but they're
Right.
gonna make the same money whether they're mowing or whether they're in a line truck.
Right.
And I realize they probably don't wanna do it, but, I mean, it is in their contract that some of that other stuff they have, it's just gotta be done, along with the painting and some of the other stuff.
And I can tell them they'll have a mower, push mower and a rider designated.
They have a
for that.
rider out of their like.
Oh, okay.
company, but there, I mean, there's a extra push mower at the park, isn't there? Yeah, and there's one down here. But first of all, let me ask Tyler, like you said, like, Mike probably has to code the house first.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta go through that chain right there first. Now, let me ask him if, then that 10 days lapse, if nothing's done, it'll be an empty house, so I don't know how that code's gonna be. Let me ask Tyler on that on the empty house, like on Bridget's, I don't know how that works. When the house is empty, who you're sending those, the code part
Right.
too, but I still think he has to serve the paper on the door.
Yeah.
10 days passes, then it becomes where we go in and keep it cleaned up. But let me double check that first.
Ridiculous, you can't.
Oh my gosh.
It's just.
Bob and I, we just mow somebody's yard, we don't care if you live by us, you don't do
I
it,
was
we
gonna
just
say,
do
would you
it.
get in
We
trouble
just,
if you were a neighbor and just went
yeah,
down
we
the
just
road?
mowed it, didn't we?
I
Bob?
used to mow Doc Brown's house when we lived in,
We just mow everybody's.
I'd be mowing and all, cause I figured, well, he's out of town and I'm just about done. He comes out and he goes, hi neighbor. I'm like, really?
Jeff's that way, there's a lady down from us, he's like, you have to be mad if I just went over there and mowed it.
I did. I get
Larry
turned loose.
used to mow some of that yard, but it just isn't.
He, and I tell you what, having that yard mowed has just been amazing for him, health-wise, honestly. So, but yeah, I will find that out and then I'll let you know. I'll let you all know what Tyler says, but I'm pretty sure we have to go through that
I
process.
do too.
And then Mike can
I'd
just
like to
leave
know
something.
that before I talk to the guy.
Yeah, then Mike can just leave something, like if 10 days have passed, then he can say, they still haven't done it, well, there's no way it'll be there, so then that would take.
If I lived next door to it, I would mow it,
We would too. We would too.
Yeah.
just because I wouldn't wanna look at it.
Well, our neighbors called the cops on me for picking up their leaves, so.
Yeah, they did, so.
Oh my God.
She said I put them in their yard. No, I took them out of your yard and dumped them at the curb.
Well, we have, but I've been approached about Pritchard's twice already for fear that it's gonna get worse. And I can understand that, so. We'll get it there. All right, I will do that and we'll find out.
Now it's up to you, Michelle.
Did all that? Did that? Oh, I have Mike's, mileage for $4 or for $4.20.
Not sure we should pay that.
So I need a motion.
Motion to pay the bike.
Yeah. I make one you pay my $4 and what,
20 cents.
20 cents.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
And
abstain.
I just need, one signature right here. I don't need all four of you, but if you do, that doesn't matter either, so.
What did it say, 3?
Yes.
I don't need to go over this, but I just put this for your information on the funds and how they're used and what they're for and how they're driven. It's good information to have and, you know that your property taxes don't go towards roads because everybody thinks they do and they don't. So you can find out what makes this up. This is just something to look at, that's all. I thought that since Sandra Sixberry was coming, I know you all got my email about the elections.
I went in there, I did it, I did. mine.
Great.
Yeah, I
I
did.
didn't, I just now got it.
Okay, well, that's
So-
okay, just run it, but,
But it's kind of confusing, so they took me back, they actually showed me what they did with Teresa, so I can just not copy and
Yeah.
paste, but just see
Yeah.
what, because a lot of that stuff
Yeah, 'cause
NA,
I
so
started
they'll take
filling
you
out
back
the
in
one
there
that
and
was
show you.
15 pages and I
So if I
said,
just go in
this
there.
is crazy.
Yep.
I have
and
my-
she's the.
You just have to
We're
fill out
friends, I'll
the
just tell her
pages.
sorry.
You have to-
Yeah, they'll help you, they walk me right, they show me
Yeah.
Teresa's and just have me. fill out
Okay.
mine out.
and each January you'll fill out a new CF4, it's really not,
Yeah,
it'll be,
you just have to put
Yeah.
not applicable because we don't have any.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to let
But she was
people know.
gonna come about the election, and if, you two probably won't remember this because you weren't on the board yet, but 2023, it was brought up where we would just become part of the county election so that there wasn't separate elections that were being held because they're very expensive to have. Well, we talked about it, we were supposed to we could have passed a resolution, but we didn't because it wasn't supposed to be, it was something that was gonna happen in 2025. Gonna happen, like we could revisit it again. But then she's like, I don't have anything from your town, and I'm like, well, I had to go back on the minutes, and that's why. She is currently, it's probably because of the thing, she was gonna come, but she's currently looking in to see if we can sign that again, which we'll want to, because having an election, if you have your own election in the town, it's very expensive, and there's no reason for us to incur that kind of cost, so, that resolution probably coming up down the road a little bit, but other than that, that was this, and I don't have anything else unless you guys have something for me.
The only thing that I have is the thermostat here in this building. The guys from the electric company can control it from their phones. And they've been turning it way up. And then if somebody's in here, they turn it down. Well, that makes the air conditioning run a lot more. And I sent them an email and asked them, because we had the meeting tonight, because there's an event here on Saturday, I asked them to leave it set on 70 instead of turning it up and down. So I think that maybe, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't think it's necessary for them to have control of that on their phones. And we really don't want it when they move over here.
I feel like we discussed this a couple months ago, and we decided we were gonna leave it on 7. The plan was to leave it on 70.
But they haven't.
Well, we need to,
So I asked them, and they did put it on 70.
Mr. East came in and said it was on 78,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the walkers were
The
like,
That's
walkers
the
were
whole-
about falling
that's
over.
the whole, and I know that was one of,
They had the door.
I know I did mention it to one of the guys that was here to give us quotes, and they also said, leave it on a temperature.
yes.
Right.
Because, well, there's one, in something this size, it does nothing but cost you money.
Right.
Two, like in the winter, that concrete, if you keep it at a temperature, the concrete will heat up and help heat up, and the same thing with cooling it off in
Right,
the summer.
in
When
summer.
it cools it off, it helps,
Mhm.
just helps. So we just need to ask them, we
Right.
just need to tell them
And
that
that's
the
what I
door,
did. I asked them.
it needs to
leave
stay
on
at 70. Just don't touch it, put it on 70 degrees, and that's where it stays.
Yeah, I think that's what Larry did. He would come in every season and he just, boom, put it
The only
there.
time I see that being any different is if you knew you were gonna have a big wedding in here or
Right.
something great big,
Right.
you might say, hey, turn it down to 65
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, because it will, you know, with a lot
Get
of
warm
people,
with
but
water.
other than a big function, whatever temperature we decide on, it just needs to stay there.
Yes.
It's
But
pretty
it has
comfortable
been
right now.
I
so
think it is.
hot, it has been
It
so
felt good
hot.
when I walked
I
in.
thought they did too.
Yeah.
We do
It
have a
will.
wedding coming up, Jessica, yes, so I'm glad you said that, cause I
It's
will.
just been so hot out, when they move it up and down like that, it takes it forever to cool off.
I would agree, we just need to ask them to leave it,
Yeah,
leave it
well,
on
I
70.
did ask them to leave it on 70, please, and they replied right away and said, okay, that's fine, so. Just like when I asked them to pull the weeds, they set right back and they got it done, they got the weeds down, so that was great. Okay, let's see, who's next?
It's
Jeremy,
I have nothing.
Jennifer?
No.
Marilyn?
No.
Okay, and there's no public to comment.
I do have one thing, just, Michelle, when you guys pick out a color, and there's other options, that just is what our commercial division said would be good for what the situation's gonna be. But just let me know what it is so I can,
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
look at it
of
right
course.
here really quick, so you know.
I don't need to take it with me, I just, you can get
Okay.
other opinions or whatever you wanna do, cause don't matter to me what color it is. It's all going, doesn't matter what color, it's all going to cost the same thing.
But we may not want.
Yeah, we may not.
I don't have to look at it.
Okay, our next meeting is August 7th, and we will adjourn.
And I'm sorry, you guys, I knew we had a meeting, my car just.
You're fine.
That's
So
okay.
the next
You may-
meeting, we can,
You owe them all cookies next time.
we can determine like who's gonna do the painting and then approve the people for the, and all that. We can maybe get all of that done and Brian will have his, good stuff on. Awesome. Thank
You have to
you.
make a motion to adjourn, or you just
Oh, I
adjourn it?
need a motion. Yeah, I need a
We to have
second.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Bob.
I started to write that instead of my signature.